being uncomfortable is a part of a spiritual awakening. It becomes very uncomfortable to step out of your comfort zone, which is being human. It is uncomfortable to learn that the things that you thought were true are not true. It can be uncomfortable to know these things and have this awakening and have everyone around you still in the falseness of life. It is very uncomfortable. Source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call this higher power, understands how uncomfortable it can be. I've seen, and I'm sure if you're going through this journey and you're getting TikToks or you're just getting downloads, what have you, about your spiritual journey, your spiritual awakening, sometimes it can be misleading, especially from the masses. And it can also lead to being uncomfortable because you don't know what to believe. And yes, sure, you are going through it newly for the first time. And so you are looking for advice. You're looking for someone to show you the way. And that can be uncomfortable. I'm saying this all to say, I just saw a TikTok a little bit ago about a young lady who was uncomfortable. She was asking the universe for signs. The universe gave her signs that made her uncomfortable. It is very, very uncomfortable. So I'll share a story about mediumship. So my uncle had passed away, and I talk about it, before, just, how I just was in this world and didn't really know it and didn't really want to talk about it with anyone because, again, uncomfortable. It's not quite human. It's different. I didn't want to be different at that time. So my uncle passed away, and he came to me in a dream, as a lot of people who have this gift, their stuff comes to them. He came to me and he was asking me to give my grandmother, his mother, a message about how much he loved her. It made me uncomfortable. I told him no. He kept coming. He kept begging me. He kept asking me to do this for him. And I would cry in the dream, and I would tell him no, because I was uncomfortable. I would say no, because if I do that, then one, she's gonna tell everybody, and then everyone's gonna be looking at me funny. And two, I didn't want to hurt her. I knew bringing this up to her would hurt her because it's her child. It was her youngest child. Not hurt her in a bad way, but just hurt her. I just thought it'd make her sad. So I didn't want to. So I would tell him no. He did this for years, and it was always no. And I felt so bad about not being able to fulfill this wish. And I felt like I wasn't strong enough. And I, as a strong person, I didn't want to be seen as not strong enough to do this thing that my beloved uncle wanted me to do. Finally, it stopped being to where he was asking me to do it. It kind of morphed into, it always just like be with me sitting in my grandmother's living room with her furniture, and I would kind of be in the dream, but I would wake up in the dream. I would wake up still dreaming, and I would look around and I would see my grandmother, and she used to like crossword puzzles. So she'd be sitting there on the crossword puzzle, and I'd be sitting next to her, and I would look over and I would see my uncle either just watching her or holding her hand, just being in the presence. And I would just be sitting there with them. And so I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, again, I'm in the dream still. But this is when I say wake up, it just means me becoming aware of what's going on. And I'd be like, oh, this isn't for me. This is for my uncle so that he could be with her. And I knew that I was some kind of bridge. I just didn't know what. He needed me to be there so that he could be in the presence of her for some reason. So this is how it went on again for years. I would just be there. No one would say anything. It was just, he was just enjoying her presence, and I needed to be there. He didn't ask me to do anything anymore. And then finally, years later, I was in a dream. When I say dream, it's not really a dream. I just call it a dream because that's the human term. But I'm not technically dreaming. I'm somewhere else spiritually. So I was sitting like in this nice park. There was a path in front of me. And I'm sitting on a bench, and I knew to the right of the path was the human part, and to the left there were the path went through like a forest, and it was kind of not fuzzy or anything like that. It was kind of foggy, and so I was sitting there and I kept looking to the left because I thought someone was going to come, and I was kind of didn't know why was I there, but I still sat there. And I lost my train of thought. 1 second. And so then as I looked to the left, then I saw these two figures coming, and as they came closer, then I was able to recognize it was my uncle, and then he was with another uncle who had also passed away. So I was used to seeing my uncle, but not used to seeing the other one who passed away in this state. So my uncle came and he sat down next to me. My other uncle didn't say anything. He didn't say anything throughout this whole thing. But my uncle greeted me, and I was so happy to see him. Because again, I had seen him for years doing this thing with my grandma, but we never acknowledged each other. We never talked. I just knew I needed to be there so he could be there. And so my uncle apologized, and he said, I'm sorry for doing that to you all those years. I'm sorry for putting that weight on you when you weren't ready. It was very selfish of me because you weren't ready to do it, but it was because I wanted it. He was very clear that it wasn't an issue with me, that he wasn't supposed to do that. And he told me he loved me and told me that he wouldn't ask that of me again, and that he wouldn't visit me again. And I cried and cried and cried, and we hugged each other, and he left. So that I needed that, and I'm glad he did that, because the weight was a lot for young me. But funnily enough, he hasn't come to me in his human state as my uncle, but he is one of my spirit guides. So I do talk to him all the time. I do visit with him energetically all the time. So our relationship is still there. It's still strong, and I just love him so much. And I just was called to share that about how uncomfortable it is. So I guess this will resonate whoever it needs to resonate with.